Hello there folks, welcome to Shots Fired Airsoft. My name's Ben, and in this video we can see we've got something rather expensive on the table. Doesn't quite fit in frame, but you know, it is what it is. This is the Umarex HK416 gas blowback version. A little bit of story of back piece behind this particular weapon. It is very lightly used. I was offered it at a very good price. A chap called Stuart on the on sort of our Airsoft Club group chat said, hey, I've got one of these, I want to sell it. It came with 3 magazines. Is, like I say, it's been used twice in our CQB arena, which is essentially hardly anything. So this has never been yeeted in the muddy field. It's barely running. So I'm just going to do like kind of like a first impressions video for the channel, because I really don't get into this level of airsoft very often. You may have noticed on the channel I very rarely have anything high end. I think the most expensive thing I bought recently is probably that MP9 that I did the video on, the KWA B&T version. Now there is a reason for that. I don't get any help with this channel in terms of, you know, no one's sending me anything to review or anything like that, so every review you see is something I bought with my own money. This gun, as it sits here, the gun's around 450 to 500 pounds, and there are 3 magazines here. And they're about 50 to 60 pounds each, so you're looking at a 700+ pound gun here, which is something I would never normally be able to afford. So thank you, Stuart, for offering it at such a good value. Even then, I will be selling this on, because even at the vastly reduced price it was, it's still a large chunk of my airsoft budget that I need to recoup. So with that in mind, essentially this is my kind of first foray into sort of decently high-end airsoft. Obviously there are guns that are more expensive than this. You can spend thousands of pounds on weapons, but this particular one is what I would consider to be a sort of a competitive high-end gun, rather than a sort of, you know, a permanent collector's piece. So with that in mind, I'm going to pop the box open, get the gun out, and we're going to see what makes it tick, what you get for your extra money that you buy over something like a, you know, a £300 WE. So with that said, let's get this box open and see what we've got inside. Right, so here we go. Very nice box from Umarex, which isn't really a surprise. I say this is not a cheap weapon. I say this came with 3 magazines. These are all genuine mags, H&K gas mags. So again, there's, I say, quite a lot of money's worth of gas there. Fairly standard magazines, and we've got a gas fill port right up by the valve knocker, which is quite unusual, or the ejection valve. And they hold about 50 rounds each, I believe. It may actually be less than that. But anyway, this is what we're here for. This is the gun. There is, I'm assuming that I'm missing a booklet for it. However, I could be wrong. It may not come with one, but there is a, if I can just get it out underneath the gun, a little Umarex care guide. Essentially, this shows you pretty much, or at least tells you, what you should be lubricating and how you clean it, which is nice to see. A lot of sort of gas blowback guns of the cheaper variety don't really come with much information on how you actually take care of your airsoft gun, especially when you're dealing with gas blowbacks that do need a bit of maintenance every now and then. And that's probably one of the reasons that they do fail, because commonly they're bought by sort of maybe younger players that don't have the cash to throw around, maybe people that are, it's their first gas blowback, and the one thing they really need is a guide on how to actually take care of these weapons. If they don't get it, it contributes to the weapon failing, and therefore all your lower end sort of stuff ends up with a bad name, because no one takes care of them, because they just buy them for, you know, a couple £100 and then use them, and then they break, or fail to fire properly. Everyone gets the hump. They get a bad reputation as being shit, and it just isn't really true. You know, my R36 is still going strong. It cost me 120 quid. It is a year and a bit later. I've used it loads and it still works. But if you go on the internet, people say they're rubbish, and it just isn't true. So if anyone who actually gave a crap about airsoft guns actually bought a lower end weapon and took care of it, it would last a long time. Anyway, quick rant out of the way. This is in a bag, which is how it came to me. I'm going to pop this out, and we're going to get rid of this giant box so I've got some room. Now this, I have had it out for a quick look, but we're going to go for it properly now. So we have the H&K, or HK416 and it is a fully licensed product from Umarex. It's built by VFC for Umarex, because Umarex don't build anything themselves, they are purely a rebranded company. This particular version is full metal, like you would expect for the money, to be honest. We have our selector switch, which feels like you would expect it to for a £700 gun, or what is a £700 package to run. Has a standard 14mm negative thread on the front, which this lovely metal flash hider is held on with a little grub screw. We have our RAS system, which is both sort of sat on the front of the gun and bolted through the bottom here, which is nice. We have our ejection door, again a lovely metal. The bolt is beautiful, HK branded, really nice looking, nicely made. I just, oops, sorry, get you in there, and you can see the end of our nozzle. But the way it sounds is just lovely. Forward assist, the infamous forward assist on the sort of AR style platform. We have a HK branded stock on our metal buffer tube. This is polymer, like you would expect. Really, a lot of the things like this are polymer, the parts where you handle the gun, even in the real steel world, for comfort. The standard sort of pistol grip, bit of stiffling on there. We have, obviously there's no mag in the gun, pull the trigger, beautiful mechanical trigger pull as you would expect from a gas blowback. And really the thing that strikes you about this is the way everything's made, the way everything's printed on the gun is just beautiful. There's no blotching of ink, there's no, you know, mistakes or anything on it really. It is just lovely. Charging handle, we have like a single safety catch, so you can't pull it until you pull your sort of safety release, so you can't get accidentally charged. And so you bring that back, open her up, and we have a nice full metal charging handle, although again, like I was saying, the bit you actually touch is plastic. So there's nothing really to be sort of turn your nose up at or anything, because a lot of the stuff like this, pulling on that metal, sort of bare metal, would actually be quite uncomfortable, so they add like little bits of plastic just to give you something to get your fingers on without getting hurt. Obviously most people using one of these in a tactical situation will probably be using gloves. On here we have a lovely quick release sight, so it just pops off as you push back your little sliding arm like that, which releases it from the rail. Trying to put that on back on one-handed may go well, it may not. Yeah, there we go. You can get it on one-handed, and in there is a lovely adjustable flip-up rear sight to match the little adjustable flip-up sight in the front, and it really is a nice little setup. That when this came to me, it did have an EOTech red dot sight on. Obviously I've taken it off to show you sort of like what the gun is when you get it out of the box. It's a 6-position stock on the back. We have ambidextrous mag release on this, which isn't standard on all of them, maybe standard on the 416, because obviously this is a licensed version of the 416. So this could just be obviously a feature of the 416. I say I'm not a firearms expert at all, and you can absolutely tell that from my videos. But obviously, like I said, here we have an ambidextrous mag release operating on both sides of the weapon, and we have our bolt catch and release. So if we pop that back, we have our bolt core, and then if we release, it really does push that forward with authority. It sounds amazing in person. This rail system is absolutely beautiful. We have positioning markers, like a lot of guns do, to be honest, these days, but again, the way they're actually put on the gun and everything is beautiful. We have a little bit of damage down here from from accessories that have been put on the bottom. Nothing serious. Like I say, this gun is very lightly used and is in lovely condition. So let's just get our magazine out, or one of them, and we'll get some gas in and just see how it dry fires. So here we go, we've got one of our mags all gassed up. just going to pop them in there. Lovely positive mag insertion, and it, if I find the release on the other side, drops nice and easy. And it really does look the business with that in. Every bit sort of your scale. Well, I say this is a HK416, just for airsoft. So we do that. We pop back. It catches. The charge handle remains loose as it should. Obviously, it's caught because the mag's empty. So we've let that go in, and we fire a couple of shots with the catch release held down, bolt release held down. Sorry. And we get a lovely kick there. It is quite a heavy kick. The gun is quite heavy overall, which does sort of dull the kick slightly. I've actually got another gun to do if you can't afford one of these. The gun that's following it is a polymer version of a much cheaper brand. However, it will give you that sort of similar kick. So the overall weight of a gun does actually affect its kick, so that where this is quite heavy and very well built, it's actually possible that the kick on this is slightly reduced compared to the other gun, because there's simply more weight for the recoil to sort of move in order to get the feeling back to your shoulder. So if I just hold that down on full auto, you'll see the kind of firing rate it has. If I bring it actually around so you can see the bolt, you can see there, that's really quite nice. So a bit of extra gas release there on full auto, but nothing you wouldn't expect from. It is relatively cold in here, probably about sort of 10 degrees, so never ideal for the gas blowback weapons. I'm just going to get my scales and we're going to weigh it, and then we'll do a little comparison between this and say the actual real version of this gun, and we'll see what they are like for weight. So I'll be back in a second with that. So we got the little weigh scales make another miraculous appearance. If I just get this down on here. So it's actually quite light, the gun on its own, around 2,500 grams, 2.5 kilos. So that's about 5.5, 6 pounds, which is quite light for a full alloy replica. We get our magazine in there as well. That brings up to just under 3 kilos. So this is actually relatively light. It may be the fact that the real gun is also that light, but I'll bring up on the screen the weight of the real HK416 and we'll see how they do for comparison. So there we are. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of a run around the trades on the gun. So these are the genuine mags, restricted law enforcement government use only. I see we've got a licensed trademark of HK416. We've also got caliber of the rifle, which is really nice. So even the magazines got nice trades on them. So up here we've got HK logos galore, and then we've got again the caliber of the rifle, what model it is, a serial number. We've got lovely markings on your safe, full auto and semi. Just at the bottom here we've got a cheeky little Caliber 6mm BB, which is nice because it's not that visible on the gun. Again, ambidextrous selectors with the lovely paint on both sides. The bolt is branded HK, and then we have the lovely licensed trademark of HK416 GmbH Germany, which is not something that you get on a cheap weapon. And again, just those rails with their position markings on, which are really nicely done. One of the cleverer things about this is the real sort of A5 416, which I believe this is a model of. It actually has an adjustable gas block, so you can control the quantity of gas going back into the gun when it's firing. The airsoft version, what they've done is, I believe this is actually the hop-up adjustment. So what I'm doing there is actually adjusting the hop-up. So that's locked off, and then that's maximum, I think, and that's minimum. I'll have to experiment with it when I'm on the firing range. But again, another nice little touch, very easy to adjust as well. Apart from that, there really isn't too much more to point out. Obviously, the other thing is we have got an ambidextrous bolt release on this side as well. So if I just pop it up with that one, you can release the bolt with that one, which is excellent. So essentially it's a fully ambidextrous platform. That's going to be it from me. I can't wait to get out and fire this. Like I say, I won't be keeping this one, I will be moving it along. But it's a fantastic piece of kit. It's a lot of money. I'm going to do a full firing sort of review on it to see how it runs. Again, the weather is quite cold at the moment, which isn't ideal, but we will get there, and you'll see this very soon. Dumping a few rounds into some targets. I'm definitely going to push the targets back a bit for this. 50 metres is really not enough to let it stretch its legs. We're going out to more sort of 30 metres plus, sort of like usual sort of engagement distance you get in airsoft, and we'll see how she does. So again, thank you to Stuart for giving sort of selling this at such a reasonable price, which allowed me to pick it up to have a look at it. And I've been Ben, Shots Fired Airsoft. Hope to see you in the next video where we'll be firing this. Thank you very much, and goodbye.